Hey everyone, welcome back to Living Survival. My name is Ben, and today we're going to take a look at a knife that may have a few flaws, but I really like it. We're going to take a look at the Gerber Spine. So the Gerber Spine was developed for backpackers and hikers and campers, and I've used it on several trips and around the home, and I've really grown to love this knife, especially at the price point. We can take a look at some of the specs first. There's a 3.7 inch blade. It is a stonewash blade. It's a really nice looking blade and a nice looking knife. It's got a 3.25 millimeter thick blade made out of 7CR17 MOV, so not the most durable steel, but a steel that is very easy to touch up in the field. It is full tang, which is great. You can baton with it. I baton a lot in the wintertime and times when it's wet out, when I want to get to the center dry wood after I've sawn down some deadfall. I can really use a knife like this to easily baton that stuff up and get dry wood for my small wood stoves. The knife has a rubberized grip and it's very comfortable to hold in the hand. It's non-slip. Now some people have mentioned that you get stuff stuck in it, like wood chips maybe, or grass or other debris, but I don't really find that to be a problem. You know, you can wipe it off, and to me, I'd rather have a nice grippy handle, especially on a day like today when it's wet out. This thing's gonna work really well and be very comfortable, whether you're wearing gloves or just your bare hands, which is something that I normally do. The other thing that I like is that it's a very basic knife. There's no jimping on the top, there's no jimping on the bottom, just a nice camp style blade that you could use for all around camp tasks. It does have a slight little belly to it, so you could certainly use this to process game. It reminds me a lot of one of my buck knives, especially with the ridge here on the spine. Now that may be a con, I'm not sure, but the handle doesn't really line up on both sides. It's smooth on the bottom, but you got sort of this ridge on the top. I don't know if that was part of the design or they just didn't center the handle on the knife correctly. As I mentioned, my buck knife does have this ridge, but it goes all the way around the knife. So although it doesn't bother me, that could theoretically be a quality control issue if they meant for that to go all the way around, or if they meant for that to be smooth all the way around. As for the pin here, it is a removable pin. It is countersunk into the rubber there, but it doesn't give your hand any trouble. You don't feel it at all. I guess your thumb kind of swipes across it on the other side, whether you're holding it right or left-handed, but it doesn't bother me at all. Moving on back to the lanyard hole, which is flush on both sides. You can see it is oversized, so you can use just a little lanyard back here. You can even clip a carabiner to that. Something that I really wish that more knives had was that bigger lanyard hole. So let's move on to the sheath here that doesn't come without a few issues of its own. One is that it is right-handed only. Be nice if they made this pocket clip swappable between the two sides so that you could wear it on either side of your belt, for example. But they made this clip extra long, and what that's for is clipping on the lumbar or the hip support of your pack. So that in fact is really nice. I like it when I'm backpacking. I can carry a full tang blade with me, a full tang fixed knife with me, which is what I prefer, especially in the winter months, but it has that long clip to it that you could really clip on anything, which is great. And then again, on the knife, it has that large lanyard hole that you could use on the backside there to clip it with a carabiner. So there's a lot of mounting options that come with this knife, but the retention itself is awful, and not the way that you would think that it's awful. The top of the knife here has this little divot in it, which matches up with a divot inside the sheath, but it really just has way too much retention. You can hear it click in there, and I'm not sure it's the cold, because when I first got it, or if it's indoors, I don't have as big of a problem, but I think the cold maybe makes this a little bit tighter, and it really is a struggle to get it off. It's got a little bit of a raised lip here with a little bit of texture on the back, or jimping on the back, and you're supposed to be able to obviously just push this up and pull the blade out, and I'm pushing as hard as I can with my thumb. I don't want to have my fingers in the way, because what's going to happen is that's going to fly out of there and you're going to end up slicing yourself. But even with my left hand, you know, it really takes a lot of effort. I can't even get it out when it's cold like that. Now I can take my other hand and kind of help lift it out and it pops up, but again, it just has way too much retention. There's no rattle at all. But if you were to have this like on your pack, for example, there's no way you'd be able to get this off one-handed in the cooler months. Now, when it was warmer, when I first received this knife, and when I was using this knife in the warmer months, I didn't have that issue. So it just has to be something to do with the cold, but that's a definite issue with that knife, is that it takes a little bit more effort to get that out of there. Now, I may try to just bend this up a little bit or something, but you know, maybe they'll address that in a future revision of this knife. But in the cold months, definitely has way too much retention. Overall, as I mentioned in the beginning, it's a lot of bang for the buck. $37 for a full tang knife that does hold up to batoning and any other camp task that you want to throw at it. I do like the rubberized handle. I love the large lanyard hole there. Just maybe a little bit of quality control, although it doesn't affect the knife at all. And then that sheath, you know, definitely needs work. But I like the idea behind it. I like the uses that it was created for. Now, you can get this in this sage color, or you can also get it in a teal color, I believe. There will be links below to where you guys can pick one of these up if you wish to do so. Now, you can see there that it did pop out that time. Maybe I just need to pull this this tab up just a little bit and stretch it out. Now that it's a little bit colder out. Yeah, see, now I can get that right off, but it's still a lot tighter. Yeah, a lot tighter. Now I can't get it. A couple times it just goes right back to where it wants to be there. Yeah, just way too much retention on that sheath. So I'm gonna have to do something about that. But those would be my only cons, just that and the little bit of tang showing there. Otherwise, I think it's a great knife. So I want to know what you guys think. Let me know by leaving a comment in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video today, and give it a big thumbs up for me. Make sure you share it to any friends or family on your social media. And if you haven't already done so, click that red subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified of new videos.